Yaps. It's in the name. I have a question. Let's just go back a tepe. We'll pause this. We'll pause this. Okay. PM Modi's visit to Israel. What should we expect? Are they going to have him dance like a dog?
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be in Israel tomorrow. It's a visit that the world will be watching.
Absolutely.
This will be his first visit since the war in Gaza ended, and it comes amid the threat of a new war, a much bigger war. This time, the US and Iran are locked in a tense standoff. We've just told you about it. President Trump is threatening an attack. He has made massive military deployments in West Asia. In the middle of all of this, the Indian Prime Minister will land in Israel. India's Ministry of External Affairs has issued a statement. It said both leaders, Prime Ministers Modi and Netanyahu, will review the regional situation, and they will, of course, review the bilateral relationship, the India-Israel relationship. Reports say new defense deals could also be on the table, and a proposal for a new regional alliance.
There's a chance that, Israel comes in and says, look, we're going to flatten the fuck out of the Middle East. Do you want to get flattened too? No? Okay. Well, then partner with us.
Which, by the way, is already stirring up a debate. Our next report has more.
I hate for that Trump intervened in the middle, and of course India was already ready to nuke Pakistan.
In 2017, Narendra Modi became the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Israel.
Welcome, my friend.
We are not the Middle East. No, I know.
Welcomed him with a public embrace.
They're going to flatten the Middle East. Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran. That's what they want to do. Syria, Libya.
That barefoot walk on the beach became the defining image of a new partnership. More than 8 years later, PM Modi is set to make another trip there.
Interesting.
But the mood this time is different.
Yeah, because the world is a conflict.
Since the war in Gaza ended.
We got good relations with Afghanistan. Yeah, you have good relationships with terrorists. I mean, this is the issue, Sticks. You can't look at like these global issues of like, well, what's our relationship been like the past 10 years? You got to look at like throughout all of history, throughout the different regime changes. Like, you're only good with good relationships right now because of the administration that's running Afghanistan. The moment it changes, those relationships are changes, and nothing in the past ever mattered. Right? That's what we really you gotta think about.
Some major events. There are 3 reasons why this visit matters. The first is defense. The second is the regional situation in West Asia. And the third is a proposed
You're not defending that? Yeah.
Alliance.
I will say right now though, if we are going to zoom in, Afghanistan and India are in good relations.
Between 2015
Afghanistan, I think, is okay right now.
India purchased
okay in the sense that it's not going to get bombed.
Sensors,
if you're Iran or if you're Pakistan,
and border control equipment.
Maybe a little different.
Has only deepened since. And now, new deals could be in the works.
Did you know Al-Qaeda defense lawyer is now a part of New York's Mamdani administration? What? We allow those people over here?
Reports suggest
yes, for sure,
could include a memorandum of understanding.
They're just not in conflict right now with America. They're not threatening America like Iran is.
This is likely to be implemented over several years. The second reason this visit matters is the state of West Asia itself. The region is on the edge. President Trump has threatened to attack Iran. There is a substantial American military buildup across the region. The specter of a wider conflict is real. PM Modi's visit also comes as Israel moves to extend its control over parts of the West Bank.
Of course it does.
Territory currently under
You're not pregnant anymore, Prime?
That move has drawn sharp international condemnation.
No, he was representing Al-Qaeda in U.S. courts. Got it. Got it.
And
still, that's...
New Delhi strongly condemned the October 7th Hamas attack that triggered the war in Gaza. But India has also maintained its support for a 2-state solution for Palestine. And now, the third element, and perhaps the most consequential, a new regional alliance. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has outlined what he is calling a hexagon of alliances. Speaking on Sunday, Netanyahu described a proposed grouping that would include Israel, India, Greece, and Cyprus, along with other unnamed Arab, African, and Asian states.
In the vision that I see before my eyes, we will create a complete system, essentially a kind of hexagon of alliances around or within the Middle East. This includes India. This includes Arab countries. This also includes African
No, you
countries.
said you're not pregnant anymore.
Also countries in the Mediterranean, Greece, and Cyprus. And also countries in Asia that I will not list right now. I will present it in an orderly manner.
It is an ambitious framework, but there is a significant caveat.
I know this is going to sound dumb, but what question do they, or what language do they speak over in Israel? Like, I didn't understand that language.
No government has publicly endorsed the plan. Not India, not Greece, not Cyprus. Netanyahu has named them, but none of them have confirmed. Alongside the alliance question, PM Modi and Netanyahu are also expected to discuss the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor. This is a large infrastructure and trade route project, one that connects India to Europe via West Asia. Israel is a key part of this corridor. Both countries have a stake in pushing it forward. So what does this visit tell us about India's foreign policy? India does not take sides easily. It buys weapons from Israel. It also supports Palestinian statehood. It engages with the United States. It also maintains ties with Iran. That balancing act is deliberate, and this visit could become yet another expression of it.
There we go.
Power doesn't end quietly.
Power doesn't end quietly. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay caught up. Modi's target is Turkey. Don't mess with us. Why does Modi want Turkey? Why Al Jazeera is saying this Indian activist is demanding that the Prime Minister visit Israel to be called off? That's very interesting. When drama goes elsewhere, Modi ji pursues quiet diplomacy. Only the terrorists will be unhappy. They kill, they bomb, but don't like others to do it back to them. Lion Modi ji over Israel. Bots are overactive here. Yes, true, 100% good and great move by Modi ji to work together with the world leadership to developing, make India great again. Man, before we do any of that, I fear we have to watch out for we have to watch out for like global conflicts or shit dealing with Iran, with Pakistan. Like, India unveils its first counterterrorism policy. Okay, that's kind of interesting.
Let's turn to India now. New Delhi has
The Prahaar. I mean, this has to be this has to be in retaliation to like Operation Sindoor, or not retaliation, but like built on top of it.
unveiled its first ever counter-terrorism policy.
Hebrew? They
It's
speak
an
Hebrew?
8-page
Okay.
document that spells out India's approach. It's called
All of these leaders in their 70s and 80s were going to be doomed. What's crazy is by the time I'm like 50, all of these world leaders are going to be dead in the grave, and they're making decisions that we are going to have to live with.
Prahaar, meaning strike.
Prime, I'm not doing that today. Don't ask
But
again.
beyond the meaning, it's also an acronym. Prahaar offers a 7-layer approach, and each layer is represented by one letter. P for prevention, R for response, and so on. Tonight, we'll take a closer
Well, then
look at
what
this
does it stand
policy.
for?
What does it say, and why does India need it? Now, this document has been prepared by India's Home Ministry. Right at the outset, it makes two things clear. One, India
We'll
has
watch
zero
EKK, like,
tolerance-
tomorrow
zero
or
tolerance
Friday.
approach to terrorism. And two, India does not link terror to any religion, nationality, or ethnicity.
Well, that's dumb. It should. And it should go for the ones that we're all thinking of. The religion that has corrupted and destroyed Pakistan. The religion that has taken over Iran and destroyed it from being a great country. From removing the Persian out of Iran. Like,
And just to be clear,
you absolutely should. You should list them as that.
This is not a free pass to Pakistan. The document does accuse neighbors of using terrorism as state policy. The difference is that India is not linking it to religion or nationhood.
They absolutely should. That is a mistake. That is a mistake. It may not be right 2% of the time, but 98% of the time it seems to be pretty fucking accurate.
Basically, India is creating a distinction between the Pakistani state and its people. Now let's look at the 7 layers. Prevention. It is mostly about intelligence gathering. It talks about cooperation between different agencies. Once an input comes in, it must be passed on seamlessly. Only then can attacks be prevented. Equally important are cyber operations. Most terror groups use internet services to communicate and plan, so disrupting them must be a top priority. That is the first layer, prevention.
I wonder how much AI is going to handle this.
The document names local police as the first responders. It also reaffirms the role of the NSG as the premier counter-terror force. The NSG stands for National Security Guard. Their commandos specialize in complicated operations like hijacking or hostage rescue. The third
Look at the dog.
is aggregating capacities. This mainly talks about preparedness, giving the latest technology and resources to law enforcement, creating more synergy between agencies, drafting common protocols across states, basically ensuring a seamless and lethal response. Now to the fourth layer, human rights and the rule of law. This talks about ensuring due process in the fight against terrorism. We saw that even after the 26/11 Mumbai attack. India gave a fair trial to the captured Pakistani terrorist, Ajmal Kasab.
They should not
That is
have.
the legacy that New Delhi wants to uphold. Which brings us to the fifth layer, attenuating the conditions conducive to terrorism. This is basically a fight against radicalization. The policy calls for...
Well, then what about the love jihadists, and what about the other Muslims that are coming in here saying that this is their country? This is, you know, Allah Akbar says that this is their God-given right. Like, what about that? How do you squash that without without hammering the nail on the head?
We're roping in NGOs, religious leaders, and preachers. The idea is to identify and help targeted youth. It also calls for socio-economic measures, things like education, housing, jobs.
Huge. That's good.
The idea is to eliminate the root causes of radicalization. Which brings us to the sixth layer, aligning and shaping global efforts. This could mean sharing intelligence across borders, or
With Israel?
executing extradition treaties, or UN campaigns to designate foreign terrorists.
To BRICS? To both?
After all, you cannot fight terrorism alone. You need foreign support. You need global support. And now the final layer, recovery and resilience. Terror attacks leave a huge imprint on our society. They also
The Pilgrim
leave
attacks were
lifelong trauma for survivors.
so
the idea
heartbreaking.
is to use proper resources to help these people.
Absolutely
Whether
heartbreaking.
That's doctors or NGOs or psychologists. These are the 7 layers of India's new anti-terror policy.
BRICS
Now,
is an
the second
economic
question.
alliance?
Why does India
Still.
need it? Why do we need this policy?
Money and power are some of the most powerful things in here, so an economic alliance is way stronger than you think, or way more impactful.
Well, there are 3 important reasons. One, it's a statement of intent. India has been one of the biggest victims of terrorism. We've lost hundreds of lives to this evil. So it was important for New Delhi to draft this document. Successive governments have talked about zero
That's interesting,
tolerance,
Gamer. That's a good
but
point.
This policy institutionalizes it. Secondly, it offers clarity to the stakeholders. What role does local police play? What role does the NSG play? How can NGOs and community leaders help? What should state governments do? Think of it as a guidebook for all these stakeholders. They can prepare policies based on these 7 layers. And finally, the third reason. It acknowledges a whole of society approach. Most of the times, that is missing from public conversations. We hear about not giving an inch. We hear about making perpetrators pay. We hear about revenge and war. But this document goes beyond that. It also focuses on how society can prevent such attacks. How can we eliminate the root causes? And how can we help the survivors? And that's why this policy is so important. It takes a long-term, nuanced and expansive approach to terrorism. You could say it's a Prahaar on the roots, not just the branches.
Power doesn't end.
Okay. I mean, ultimately, I do think that India needs to be a little bit more like heavy-handed on some of these terrorist countries, but it's a good policy. This policy is good, but for starters, we need to implement our NRC throughout India and find out illegal immigrants from this country who are stealing our resources and planning to attack inside India. Wow, you guys got the same shit, huh? You got illegal immigrants stealing your resources, putting a strain on your social welfare systems. If terrorism is not related to one particular region, there cannot be anything more blatant light of this. Terrorism, radicalization, and fanaticism is one of the most common central strings that is peaceful religion of peace. Thank you for saying the quiet part out loud. Some things cannot be made official policy, but this does not mean anyone is not going to be judged by the religion when it comes to terrorism. That literally says that they won't, though. That's the issue. Israel believes in preemptive strikes. Hit them before they hit us. What a stupid policy. It has everything to do with religion. No terrorists have ever killed people for math or the name of Newton. This is true. This is true. On the outside, it is terrorism, has no religion, but internally it is a religion. You cannot publish what the intelligence across believes. Remember how they banned PFI? They knew everything has to do with religion and knew exactly where to look for it. Not very useful policy. Simple policy is when a terrorist is convicted, his and his families who knew that he was going against the nation should also be punished. That is the only thing to stop radicalization. Not the only thing. P is for prevention, R is for response, and so on and so on. Even Paul G is fed up with these wannabe acronyms. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When she said that, and then she went through the 7 other letters in there and didn't correlate the A to like absolute response or something like that, it was like, damn. Even she's fed up with this.